The American dream once felt attainable: buy a house, raise a family, enjoy vacations, but now it feels more out of reach. The value of a dollar isn't what it used to be. Inflation is squeezing family budgets. We see it everywhere: groceries, gas, bank accounts, every day another headline about rising costs. So let's look at 15 things harder to afford. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. It really helps support the channel. Remember when buying a house felt like a realistic goal? Yeah, me too. But over the past few years, the housing market has gone completely bonkers. We've seen this perfect storm of low supply, insanely high demand, and interest rates that seem to climb higher every other week. And it's not just the cost of buying a house itself. Property taxes are skyrocketing, and don't even get me started on the cost of lumber if you're thinking about renovations. For many families, especially young people just starting out, the dream of owning a home feels like, well, just that, a distant dream. It's gotten so bad that even renting an apartment is becoming increasingly difficult. Speaking of which. So, if you thought buying a house was tough, let's talk about renting. Rent prices have been climbing steadily for years, and it's putting immense pressure on families, especially those living paycheck to paycheck. It's basic economics. When demand outstrips supply, prices go up, and unfortunately wages haven't kept pace with these rising housing costs. This means families are forced to make impossible choices, cut back on groceries, forego health care, or even dip into their already depleted savings just to keep a roof over their heads. The worst part? The constant threat of eviction looms over far too many families. It's a terrifying situation to be in, and it's a stark reminder of the inequalities that exist in our society. Let's talk about something we can all relate to: food. Remember the days when you could walk into a grocery store and not feel like you needed a small loan to buy basic necessities? Yeah, those days feel long gone. We've all seen the headlines. Food prices soar. Inflation hits grocery stores hard. It's like a punch to the gut every time you check out at the register. And it's not just luxury items that are getting more expensive. We're talking about staples like bread, milk, eggs, the basic building blocks of a meal. Families are being forced to make tough choices about what to put on the table, and it's heartbreaking. Wanderlust on hold. Saying goodbye to family vacations. Remember family vacations, those road trips to national parks, those flights to visit grandparents, those memories you cherish forever? Well, for many families, travel has become a luxury they simply can't afford. With rising gas prices, expensive plane tickets, and the overall increase in the cost of living, family vacations have been relegated to the maybe someday category. It's sad, really. Vacations are supposed to be a time to relax, reconnect, and create lasting memories. But when you're struggling to make ends meet, taking a vacation feels like an impossible dream. Summertime sadness, the high cost of summer break. Summer break. It's supposed to be a time for kids to relax, recharge, and enjoy their freedom. But for many parents, it's become a logistical and financial nightmare. With schools closed, parents are faced with the added burden of childcare costs, summer camps, and keeping their kids entertained and fed for 2 whole months. And let's be real, summer camps aren't cheap. The cost of sending your kids to a decent summer program can easily rival the cost of college tuition these days. It's no wonder so many parents are feeling the pinch. Summer break should be a time for joy and relaxation, not stress and financial strain. The price of parenthood, diapers, formula, and the rising cost of babies. Having a baby is one of the most incredible experiences in life, but it's also incredibly expensive. From diapers and formula to clothes and childcare, the costs add up quickly. And guess what? Even the cost of diapers has been hit by inflation. We're talking about a basic necessity for newborns, and families are struggling to afford them. It's gotten so bad that diaper banks are reporting record demand, with many parents forced to choose between buying diapers and putting food on the table. It's a heartbreaking reality for many families, and it highlights the need for affordable childcare options and support for new parents. You know things are bad when people are thinking twice about having kids because they simply can't afford them. We're seeing a decline in birth rates, and while there are many factors at play, the cost of raising a child is a major concern for many people. Think about it. Housing costs are through the roof, Childcare is more expensive than ever, and education costs continue to climb. It's no wonder that many young people are delaying parenthood or choosing not to have children at all. It's a complex issue with no easy solutions, but it's something we need to address as a society. Remember those spontaneous date nights, those casual dinners with friends, those family outings to your favorite restaurant? Yeah, those are becoming less and less frequent these days. With the rising cost of food, labor, and, well, everything, eating out has become a luxury for many families. It's gotten to the point where even a simple dinner for two can easily set you back $100. That's just not sustainable for most families, especially those on a tight budget. So we're cooking at home more, being more mindful of our spending, and maybe saying no to that extra appetizer. Cars are expensive, we all know that. But have you noticed how much more expensive car repairs have become? It's like every time you take your car to the mechanic, you're hit with a bill that makes your wallet cry. From routine maintenance to unexpected repairs, the cost of keeping our cars running smoothly has skyrocketed, and for many families, it's just not something they can budget for. This can lead to a vicious cycle where people delay necessary repairs, which can result in even bigger and more expensive problems down the line. Remember when you could crank up the AC in the summer without worrying about your energy bill? Yeah, those days are long gone. Utility costs have been steadily rising, and it's putting a strain on family budgets. From heating our homes in the winter to cooling them in the summer, we're all feeling the pinch of higher energy costs. And for families struggling to make ends meet, it can mean making difficult choices between paying their utility bills or buying groceries. It's a lose-lose situation, and it highlights the need for affordable and sustainable energy solutions. Credit cards can be a useful tool, but they can also be a slippery slope into debt. And with the rising cost of living, more and more families are finding themselves relying on credit cards to make ends meet. But here's the thing about credit card debt: it's incredibly difficult to escape. With high interest rates and minimum payments that barely make a dent in the balance, it's easy to feel like you're drowning in debt. It's a stressful and overwhelming situation to be in, and it's something we need to address as a society. Remember the days when people would stock up on groceries, filling their pantries with enough food to last for weeks? Well, with rising food prices and shrinking budgets, those days are fading fast. Families are buying less food, cutting back on non-essential items, and struggling to put food on the table. It's a stark reminder that food insecurity is a very real problem in our country, even in places where you might not expect it. It's a complex issue with no easy solutions, but it's something we need to address as a society. Gas prices have always been a hot topic, but lately it feels like we're getting burned more than ever. Every time we fill up our tanks, it's a painful reminder of how much it costs to get around these days. And it's not just the cost of commuting to work. High gas prices have a ripple effect on the entire economy, driving up the cost of transportation, goods, and services. It's a vicious cycle that hits everyone in the wallet. Here's a sobering thought. A significant percentage of American families are living paycheck to paycheck, with little to no savings to fall back on. This means that even a small financial setback, an unexpected medical bill, a car repair, a job loss, can send their world into a tailspin. This financial fragility is a major problem, and it's something that needs to be addressed. We need policies that support families, promote financial literacy, and create a more equitable economy. So, there you have it. 15 things that American families are finding increasingly difficult to afford. From housing and healthcare to education and childcare, the cost of living continues to rise, while wages remain stagnant. This is creating a perfect storm of financial stress for families across the country. It's a complex issue with no easy solutions, but it's something we need to talk about. We need to find ways to make life more affordable for everyone, to ensure that the American dream remains within reach for all. We covered a lot of ground in this video. If you're still here, thank you. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Stay curious, stay engaged, and stay hopeful.